Hi, my name is Kellie Goff. I am a Catholic foreign missionary with Family Missions Company, and in this first year, I'm being sent to Ecuador. So this is my call to missions, and the first time that the Lord called me was as a junior in high school. I went to a Catholic high school, grew up Catholic my whole life, but unfortunately, years prior to junior year of high school, so as a freshman, I was having a lot of health complications with my sinuses. I was told by doctors I needed to get quick surgery and they needed to figure out what was going on because there were so many infections. And during that time, because I was being raised with this Catholic faith, it seemed very contradicting to what I felt in my heart. And I really just doubted that a good father could allow suffering. And so I proclaimed quietly in my heart to be atheist for quite some time, for 3 years. Went through the motions as being part of my family, and it was, like I said, junior year of high school. I was sitting in my religion class. It was about the dignity and morality of the human person. And I just felt my heart on fire to answer big questions and to just, I don't know, it was the first time I just let, without really knowing it, the Lord speak truth about who He is. And so we were watching a movie in that class, Hotel Rwanda, and so it was about foreign mission. It was about another country and about poverty, and this was what actually stirred in my heart. My thought when after I finished watching that movie in class was, I want to go to these places and love these people. But I didn't think that was a call. I just thought that was a thought in my head. I didn't believe the Lord would literally take that and then be like, I'm going to use that desire. And so it took another year for it to be real in my heart. And it was through a high school senior retreat called Kairos at my high school that everything changed. I had, unfortunately, before all this, experienced abuse in the clergy, and I had unfortunately experienced going to confession in the past, and I was yelled at one time in confession and told I was selfish because I was dealing with depression, and that priest forced himself on me. And although it was never sexual abuse, it was emotional abuse, and it confused me. And so going back to that retreat on Kairos was the first time in 4 years I decided to go back to confession. And I met Jesus in confession that time, and it took a ton of courage out of me I just remember on that retreat feeling this burning fire that there's something more in me that I desire, and there's more in this life, and what is it? And I'm thirsting for it. And I had been seeking it in all these other ways, and it was so apparent after I walked out of that confession, felt the presence of Jesus, that He was calling me back to a personal relationship with Him, back to the church, back to the truth that He's a good Father. And so after that, I was all in. I just said, Jesus, okay, I give my life to you. I've been so tired. I've been so exhausted from seeking fulfillment in my life in all these other ways, and you really are the only way. And so I, as a senior in high school, so that was the summer before senior year, I immediately decided to join youth group at my home parish. And I remember just going up to the youth minister at the time and saying, my name's Kellie and I want to be confirmed Catholic. And so as a senior, I was confirmed Catholic and knew I was going to college at that point. So I went to Xavier University and I double majored in communications and theology because I was still really thirsting for truth, for Jesus. And so I also knew in conjunction to that, I wanted to do ministry. I wanted to serve in this foreign mission. I just kept recalling that experience in high school in that religion class and thinking, I just can see myself going to these places and meeting these people who are really poor, and to be the hands and feet of Jesus for them, to them, to share good news. And so as I was studying theology at Xavier University, I also did internships. So I did an internship with Dynamic Catholic and helped with the communications department. And then the summer before senior year of college, I also did an internship with Life Teen and also helped with communications with them. And as these years continued, my prayer life was developing and this real relationship with Jesus was growing and growing. And the more I would come to prayer, the more the cavern in my heart I felt of serving just was opening and widening and spreading. And so I distinctly remember at Dynamic Catholic, I was in their chapel and praying, and I was just heavily discerning. Am I supposed to be a nun if I'm supposed to serve, or am I supposed to be a lay person in the church and be a missionary? And all along in my heart, I wanted to be a missionary. I wanted to go out and be foreign, be abroad. But I wanted to give it over to Jesus first. And so I was sitting in morning prayer, and it was adoration that day. And I had in the meantime also been doing a novena, so a 9-day devotional prayer to Saint Therese of Lisieux, who is known to really just intercede for discernment. And she, through Jesus, kind of just offers peace and clarity if you ask her to, what is the Lord's will in my life? And so I did that. And on the 9th day, it was this day I was in adoration, but before adoration, I had asked Saint Therese, if the Lord wants me to be a nun, reveal to me white flowers, and if the Lord wants me to be a foreign missionary, reveal to me yellow sunflowers, yellow daisies, yellow something. And so actually a coworker had walked in to the office that day, looked at me and said, "Kelly, I have flowers for you." And that was the last day of the novena. And I immediately was just, what? Because I had not told anyone that I was discerning, that I was seeking to know the Lord's will in my life or anything. And so I knew this was the Lord speaking. And even in adoration, I could just see through the host and the monstrance where Jesus resides, that it was glowing. It was literally glowing, and my heart started burning. Like, the more I thought of missions and prayer, it just kept glowing and burning inside of me. And so then I talked to that friend, and she said that the flowers she had for me were actually on her phone. So she had that past weekend taken a walk and saw a field of yellow flowers on her walk and thought of me and didn't know why, and knew that she just needed to take a photo of it and show me. And they were, like I said, yellow little flowers. And when I saw it, I bawled my eyes out and knew that, okay, I truly have a missionary heart, and this is the reason why I was created. This is my purpose. This is, the Lord's purpose for my life. And so I did still have another year left of college, and still had an internship with Life Teen, and also studied abroad in Rome during that time. And so I kind of unfortunately lost that truth for a year that the Lord clearly spoke that in my life. But in the midst of the craziness and graduation and falling in love with another Catholic organization and wondering, Lord, do you have me there? It's just crazy. Family Missions Company kept coming up. I met, for instance, while I was in my time studying abroad in Rome, I was connected with a full-time Catholic single missionary through Family Missions Company that was literally just having her layover in Rome back from Asia and going to the States to say hello again to family and friends and all that. And we met outside a train station in Rome, and I think really what has convicted me the most about Family Missions Company is the apparent and undeniable peace and joy in these missionaries' lives. You're in their presence and boom, Jesus is just alive. And it was attractive, and so I never forgot that. And it's just funny that continually, even when I graduated this past May from college, I guess maybe I was stubborn, I don't know, I just had to go through more discernment maybe in prayer, but I didn't have anything set in stone when I graduated this past May because I was possibly discerning another organization, but yeah, there's just Family Missions Company kept coming up, and then I just applied with Family Missions Company. I had my come and see in June, and again, there's just so many affirmations. This is it. And now it's been 3-4 months of training here in Louisiana at the mission base, and I'm being sent out to literally go and meet Jesus in the face of the poor of Ecuador. I have no idea what challenges or what beauties what I'm going to experience in a week, but what I know is that the Lord has preserved me this whole entire time. He heard that quiet, gentle desire in my heart that junior year of high school and took it and held it close to his heart and has been fostering a growth of, I don't know, like I said, just growing that desire within me all these years. And I feel humbled and I feel all kinds of emotions, but what I truly feel is that the Lord has beautiful gifts lying before me. And something lastly I guess I'll share is, so we did a 3-week mission trip throughout our training, part of training in Mexico. And while I was there, we hadn't known where we were going to be placed for our first year yet. I'm not great about waiting, patience, the unknown, and I just asked the Lord, I was begging him, like, Lord, just give me a hint, like, give me something. I'm really struggling to trust, wherever it is you have for me. And so one day, it was I think our second week of Mexico, I had asked Saint Therese to just bring me peace. I didn't do a novena, but I was just like, Saint Therese, you're awesome. Just help me to bring peace and joy into this crazy unknown before me. And I walked into the little church in the mission base in Mexico of General Cepeda, and oh my gosh, there was 3 bouquets of yellow sunflowers on the altar, and I walked in and saw that, and I distinctly just heard Jesus say, Kelly, these flowers will follow you wherever you go. And I broke down crying. It was beautiful. And even on placement day, when I saw Ecuador was where the Lord has for me, there's little flowers on the flag that are yellow. And still here I'm at the base of Big Woods, and it's bare trees everywhere, but the only thing that has really lasted are these yellow flowers. And it honestly, it's unreal how the Lord pursues you if all you just say is yes. And so, yeah, praise God.